JBNN keep you informed. I'm Michelle Jones, and in the news, 30-day entertainment ban for 6 St. Elizabeth communities, say police. Following recent crimes, including a double murder, a 30-day ban on entertainment events has been imposed in 6 St. Elizabeth communities. In a letter dated December 12 to the St. Elizabeth Municipal Corporation, head of the St. Elizabeth Police, Acting Superintendent Coleridge Minto, stated that entertainment events are prohibited in Goshen, Balaclava, Oxford, Union, Content, and Elim. In light of the recent increase in murders in the division, the listed police areas are banned from conducting or hosting public events such as dances, parties, round-robins, drinkouts, etc., the letter read in part. However, a grand market will be permitted on December 22 for Balaclava Town Centre. The letter also stated that the ban would be reviewed on January 8, 2024. Man gunned down in broad daylight in St. Anne. A man was shot in Contact Gardens, Ocherius, St. Anne on Wednesday morning. He has been identified as Benjamin Graham, otherwise called Pepe, of the area. Reports are that at about 10:10 a.m., residents heard explosions sounding like gunshots and summoned the police. Upon the arrival of the lawmen, Graham was seen lying on the floor of a one-bedroom dwelling, suffering from gunshot wounds. He was taken to hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Residents of Content Gardens have expressed concern following Graham's death. Right now, the whole community stands. The killing is getting too bad in St. Anne. Matter of fact, the whole of Jamaica. Look how much parishes have SOE, and the killers are still on a spree. This don't look good. This look like a bloody Christmas, a resident, who identified himself as Joe, said. Another resident said she heard the shots while doing chores. I was washing some plates and I heard shots. I wonder if it was clappers because Christmas time around the corner. About an hour later, somebody called me and said me hear about the shooting. Broad daylight, me couldn't believe, she said. According to the constabulary, as of December 2, St. Anne has recorded 75 murders, 12 more than the corresponding period last year. JP robbed a fireman cash after stopping to urinate in St. Anne. A gunman held up and robbed a justice of the peace of his licensed firearm and $40,000 cash along the Bull Point Main Road in Ocherius, St. Anne on Tuesday. The 74-year-old justice of the peace was robbed while relieving himself along the roadway. Information received indicate that around 11 a.m., the JP, who is also a businessman, was in the process of relieving himself in bushes near the road when a man called out to him by his name. It is understood that the man asked him about sending some pictures for him and walked closer to the JP. The man then pulled a gun and demanded that the JP put up his hands. The gunman then pulled the JP's firearm with 17 rounds from his waistband, searched him, and took $40,000 from his pocket. He then escaped in a vehicle waiting nearby. The police have since launched a manhunt for the gunman. Police probing 2 fatal shootings in Trenchtown. The Kingston Western Police are probing the fatal shooting of 2 people in the Trenchtown community. A 45-year-old chef is the latest victim. Kerry Parker Gunter was shot dead along 3rd Street on Tuesday morning. Reports are that about 10:50 a.m., Parker was at his shop when he was attacked and shot by armed men. He was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. Another victim, 24-year-old Tevin Peart of Greenvale, Mandeville, Manchester, was shot dead along 4th Street on Monday. Biker dies after crashing into utility pole in Manchester. A motorcyclist died as a result of injuries he sustained after crashing into a concrete utility pole in Craighead, northern Manchester, on Tuesday morning. Police named the deceased as Dwayne Uter, 33, a resident of Bigwood District in the parish. A police report said about 3 a.m., Uter lost control of his motorcycle and slammed into the utility pole. He was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. Since the start of December, 2 motorcyclists have died in crashes in Manchester. On December 1, Shamario Thomas, 21, died as a result of injuries he sustained in a collision on Caledonia Road in Mandeville. 21-year-old gets over 28 years in prison for murder and robbery of Clarendon vendor. A 21-year-old Clarendon man was on Tuesday sentenced to over 28 years in prison for the shooting, death and robbery of a fruit vendor in Maypen on Valentine's Day. Romeo Fullerton, who pleaded guilty, was sentenced to 16 years imprisonment for robbery with aggravation, 23 years and 2 months for possession of a prohibited weapon, and 28 years and 3 months imprisonment for murder. The sentences are to run concurrently. Sentencing was handed down in the Clarendon Circuit Court. Facts are that about 8:30 p.m. on February 14, 27-year-old Keith McIntosh of Mocha in Clarendon was selling foods in Maypen when he was approached by Fullerton and another man. There was a brief conversation during which he was shot multiple times by Fullerton. As McIntosh fell to the ground, he was robbed of a bag that he had around his neck. The hoodlums escaped from the scene. An investigation by the Maypen Criminal Investigation Branch led to Fullerton being arrested, and he was subsequently charged. He made numerous court appearances and later pleaded guilty on April 26 before Justice Anne-Marie Lawrence Granger. Clarendon security guard charged with murder. A 36-year-old security guard from Clarendon has been arrested and charged with the murder of another man. The Maypen Criminal Investigations Branch is reporting. Charges Theor Walford, otherwise called McKay, of Junior Crescent, Maypen. He is charged with the murder of 31-year-old Joseph McLean. Walford has also been charged with unauthorized possession of prohibited weapon, unauthorized possession of ammunition, and using a prohibited weapon to commit a felony. These charges stem from an incident in Junior Crescent in the parish on Thursday, December 7. According to the police, about 11:45 a.m., McLean was at a bar in the community when he was pounced upon by three men who opened gunfire at him. The men escaped in a motor vehicle. McLean was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. A day after the murder of McLean, detectives gathered and verified evidence through interviews. They then apprehended Walford on Friday, December 8. On Tuesday, Walford was charged after a question and answer session. A statement from the police's corporate communications unit said on Wednesday. His court date is being finalized. MP theorizes slain Anchovy High teen was victim of a hit. 14-year-old Dino James, who lost his life when gunmen sprayed a St. James bar with bullets last Friday evening, may have been a victim of a hit. The soft-spoken Anchovy High School student was the only fatality in the Montpelier attack, which left one other person injured. It was not immediately clear who the hit was ordered for and who placed the bounty, but former police detective turned legislator Homer Davis has theorized that the deadly attack was executed as a result of an order made. From my investigation, this wasn't a robbery. This was what we would commonly term as a hit, said Davis, who is a state minister in the office of the Prime Minister West and member of Parliament for St. James Southern. And this is the consequence of it. Our community is in mourning, our school is in mourning, and the Jamaica is in mourning, Davis said at the Anchovy High's Dr. Fidel Castro campus in Montpelier on Monday as he joined the school community in mourning. Grief counselors from neighboring schools such as Anchovy Primary School and Cambridge High School joined in helping to console the grieving students and teachers. It is a sad day for not only the school community but the wider Jamaica that our young people are being murdered mercilessly on a daily basis, Davis lamented. He said that the eye for an eye concept is not an appropriate solution in settling disputes and that those responsible for this and several other shootings are known to the communities. I'm sure that the persons who are responsible for all these shootings are from the areas where these shootings occurred, Davis claimed. Sometimes they don't even know why they have been murdered. We as a people have to understand that if it's an eye for an eye, the whole nation will go blind, and it's full time we find a better way to resolve our differences, he warned. According to police reports, at about 6:28 p.m. on Friday, James, who lived in Montpelier, was playing football and was seeking shelter at a bar from a sudden downpour when a vehicle drove up and the two men alighted. The men entered the bar and opened gunfire at the occupants, hitting James in the upper body. He was pronounced dead at the hospital. A 17-year-old female was also shot and injured. Anchovy High principal Laverne Stewart said that James was a quiet student and a good footballer. He was actively engaged in a football program, and although he was not on the team for this year, he was part of the general team and a very good player, Stewart said of the 8th grader. Based on what I'm seeing now and the outpouring of love, he was quite popular among the students. His homeroom teacher informed me that he was quiet, mannerly and respectable, she said. The end-of-term examinations for grade 8 students were suspended on Monday to allow for mourning. We most definitely could not have them sit in an exam at this time, based on the emotions that they're facing and dealing with, Stewart said. We'll work out the logistics in terms of having those papers done another day. The principal said James is about the 4th student over the last 5 years to lose his life in tragic circumstances. We have had students who went to the shop and were in different places and they were taken down in like manner, she said. Violet Brown, James's grandmother, said the family is at a loss as to who would want to kill him because he was not a troublemaker. She said that her grandson's death was unbearable. She would only rely on God for strength, leaving vengeance to him. Right now, if you talk to him, you have to listen very carefully to understand what he's saying. Him don't speak much, so I'm not sure how and why this happened, Brown said. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.